Okay, yo, it's Kamikaze here, and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to be showing you my 1.13.2 Minecraft creative world. Now, I use this world for building ideas, and if I have an idea in my head, I just hop on this world and build whatever's in my head. I also I build a lot of buildings in this world that I have been tasked to build for maybe a server, or maybe someone I work for on a server. He usually tasks me to build in his city a lot, and this is where I build all my ideas, and I take screenshots and send them. That's why a lot of the buildings are very unfinished, because I just take little snippets from the ideas I have, build them in this, see if it's okay with him, and then I start building on the server, or the servers. So I'm just going to start with one of the bigger builds. This was my idea for the IDMC server. It reset back in February, and this was my idea for a base that I was going to build. I never did build it, because it costs a lot of quartz, and quartz is so expensive on that server. But I'll probably will build it at some point, maybe in a survival world, I don't know. But it is a very big build. I don't really like the hourglass shape that it turned out with, but I do like that top, so I'm definitely going to build this top at some point. But then down here, this is where I sort of started in this world. We have a sort of beacon that you would see in like Lord of the Rings in the mountains when they lit the beacons. Maybe I have a hut here. This took me like a minute to build, but this was just to show off this design, which I really like, because cactus and flower pots match up perfectly with the fences, so it makes a cool like gate design, I guess. But over here we have a basic sort of design for a mansion or a plantation building that I was gonna build. I did build it, but when I finished the full building, it didn't look nice. That was also on a server, so I got rid of the building. But here we have another short snippet of a design for a greenhouse or some sort of factory building that I was working on. I did take this design and sort of shrunk it down on the server. I will go into the server later and show around my builds, but this is the design that I had for it. And over here we have one of my favourite simplistic buildings I've ever made. It is an Amazon warehouse design that I made. Favourite part is the actual arrow, because it looks like the Amazon arrow. It took me a few tries to actually get that final design. Also, I messed up with the Z. That's me just realising I haven't put a grey barrier around it. Damn, it's going to annoy me. But this is one of the few buildings that actually has an interior. It's a very basic interior, because I'm not that good at building interiors. I don't build interiors anyway on the server. So it's a very simplistic design, but I really like it because it fits in with the Amazon warehouses. Like, if you Google search Amazon warehouses, you will see similar buildings to this. And over here, this is when I started building skyscrapers, because that's what I do in this server. I build cities. Here we have another design, and the actual final design of this on the server has acacia instead of birch, because acacia fits better with the red sandstone. But yeah, I just built this because there's no point in me building like 10 more floors of that when they're all the exact same. I also call this the Kong Tower, or Gorilla Skyscraper, because the entrance kind of looks like a gorilla face, or King Kong's face. I don't know, don't question. And over here we have another skyscraper similar to that one, but also different because it's white, and uses mushroom blocks, mushroom stems, which not many people actually use in the builds. It's a very unused block, so I used that to utilise it, because that is a very good looking block. Over here we have like a design emblem thing that I was making. I was going to put this on map art, because map art I haven't really done much of, but I never really got around to it, so it's just sort of lying there until I do. Alright, sorry. Over here we have the dome design. So there's this like church on this city server type thing that me and a few people were working on, and I was tasked with building the dome on the top. Now I never seen the church until they sent me a few screenshots of the inside of it, and they told me to build a dome. I've never built domes before, so this was my first attempt, and then they're like, maybe less end stone, because it's not that much end stone. In the final build there is actually a lot of end stone, so I then made it more sandstone and made it open top. They're like, nah, we want it closed top, even more sandstone and more brown sort of terracotta, black terracotta, because the church design has a lot on it, so I added that, and then they really liked this, so I built this on the server. That's what all these builds are, they're all built on the server at some point. Over here we have my design, or half a design for a fire station that I was working on. Obviously the back isn't done, because I only need like some of it for screenshots. So I'll take a screenshot of this, make it look like it's finished. Makes my life easier, makes building it quicker, but also, I didn't get tasked with this, but I really wanted to make like garage doors for, because it's a fire station, so that's what this redstone all is. This actually used to work, it doesn't anymore because I've messed up a bit on it, but both of these would drop down and then slowly open up like garage doors. The final design of this is actually like 5 more floors higher, so it is a pretty tall building in the server. Never bought this was the start of a skyscraper, but I didn't like how it was looking. I also messed around with the knockoff world edit commands, the copy and paste ones. Never got used to using them, so I never used them except from that, which you can see failed. This was like the wall for a kingdom, or the base of a sort of medieval type build. I actually did start building a kingdom, but with that, but it didn't look good, so I got rid of it. Here, I also tried building like mythical and sort of fairy tale style builds. So this was going to be the centre of my warp on the server. It's a sort of fairy tale portal looking thing, also based off the Rick and Morty portals. But I only built that on this world. I haven't actually got around to building any like fantasy mythical style builds yet. So over here we have more skyscrapers. These are actually some of the taller buildings in the city, the final city. But again, I've only built half of it, there's no point in building the full thing. But this style of building is very different to every other building. That's why this was actually built this second, because that was the first one I built, and I'm really proud of that building. But it's very different to all the other styles on this city. You'll see it when I go into the server. So I then built this to make it match, and I actually had a height limit on my builds, and I went over with it, but the person who I work for, the person who tells me to build all these things, they didn't really care because they liked building, so they made one higher, obviously. So we're working on a new part in the city, and this is one of the buildings that I built for it, in the style that he uses. Which I'm proud of this building, but it's very basic again. Over here, I used to have like a build style where I would just build like manors and old stone brick manors and mansions. But I've sort of grew out of that build style, and I can't build on it anymore. That was an attempt. Don't like that building. I haven't actually built that on the server because I don't like it. I like this building though, it's a different style to that, but it fits in with the other buildings there. Kind of messed up the spire, it looks more of a dome than a spire, but oh well, don't really care. Over here I was working on cow farms, and these don't work anymore, sadly, because they're 1 block too high, and if I made them 1 block lower, the cows will spawn here, get pushed and start suffocating in between the stone and that. So it's a very failed attempt at a build. I'm actually going to stop this would cause lag in my world. Damn, So over here, here's another design that I actually stuck with. This design actually works, so it's like an alternating pattern. And in my cow farm on the server, it's actually very industrialised and massive. It's just massive rows of these all piled up. Here's this is based off buildings in the city of Cheshire. Sorry, it's the city of Chester. This was just my first attempt at it. This is way bigger than the actual builds we have in our part of the city in that style, but that building over there fits in because of these style of buildings. Over here we have my main house on the server. It is quite basic, but the front of it makes it very makes it stand out more, I guess. But on the server it looks way better because I actually have like shrubbery and trees around it, making it look more like it's lived in. And I also done interior in this on the server, not here. It's sort of based off of Green's sort of English manor homes, because he's done a few videos on those. That was the build style that when I first got into building, I really built similar buildings to this, but I sort of grew out with that, so I thought I would go back and try. And yeah, I'm proud of it, I guess. Over here, this was the start of a building that I never got around to because I didn't like how it was looking. Yeah. This is also a building that I have built in the server. Proud of the roof. The roof is cool, but the rest of the building isn't really. I mean, it's alright, but it's very basic again. Over here is my latest. Actually, that's my latest building. This is. I built this on the server. I built the tower and the spire. Didn't like it, so I got rid of it. But we have these style of roads all around the city, so I thought I'd build a bridge over it, make it, just utilise the space, I guess. And on the server, someone's building a building here, so the bridge is going to loop into it. And I actually had a plan to turn this into like hydro bridges, is that what it's called? I don't know, where water's just running through here. Never got round to it though. And this is just like a boathouse type thing, so it's closed in the front, but you come in and it's open, and boats would run here down into a lake or the ocean or something. That was just a design that I would thought I'd build, have it like connect in there. I don't know. Over here, we have this big open space. Like I mined out a lot of a biome. But we have this big open space, and I was going to build like a sort of LA river sewer type thing in that space. So this was just a design to start it, but I never actually got around to finishing it. I also have pipes leading into it. I don't know, it's just a design that I had for it. And over here is my latest building. This is also similar to Green's latest video. It's a chunk video where he builds houses in chunks, and one chunk's a 16 by 16 area. This is similar to one of the houses he has in that. I use the same build palette, but it's also different in its own way. So I'm going to probably build this on the server at one point because it fits sort of in with the City of Chester style builds. So yeah, that's pretty much my entire creative world. It's just full of all these designs and half finished buildings and stuff. Oh dear. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, I guess. I don't know. I was gonna do a let's play world, but I can't, I can't do that, I guess, because everyone's doing that. Everyone's just jumping on the hype train, the Minecraft bandwagon. Same people who would like make fun of people for playing it last year and 2 years ago are now playing it. I don't know. It's weird. It's funny. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, I guess. Bye.